The wallet was worth thousands of dollars, but the small photograph hidden inside was worth a lifetime of answers. The rain had just stopped when Sarah Mitchell found it. The streets of downtown Chicago were still covered with tiny reflections from the morning rain, the sidewalks shining beneath the soft gray sky. Sarah walked slowly, holding her worn leather bag close to her side. It had been a long morning. A school drop-off, a short shift at work, a list of errands she needed to finish before picking up her daughter. Nothing unusual, just another day of trying to keep everything together. Then she noticed something near a park bench. A black leather wallet. Expensive, clean, completely out of place among the ordinary things left behind on the sidewalk. Sarah looked around. People hurried past, phones in their hands, coffee cups in their fingers. Everyone moving quickly, too busy to notice something someone had lost. She picked it up carefully. The first thought that crossed her mind was simple. Someone was probably worried. Inside the wallet, she saw exactly what she expected. Credit cards, identification, business cards, a large amount of cash. More money than Sarah usually saw at one time. She stared for a moment, not because she wanted it, because she understood what losing something like this could mean. Someone had trusted this wallet to hold their life, and now it was gone. Sarah slowly opened the wallet again, looking for a way to return it. Then something caught her attention. A small photograph tucked behind the cards. A little girl, smiling, standing in front of a family home. Sarah froze, not because she knew the child, but because something about that picture felt strangely familiar. The little girl's expression, the warmth in her eyes, the innocent smile. For a second, Sarah thought about her own daughter. The same kind of smile, the same kind of hope. She gently placed the photograph back where she found it. Some things were personal. Some things deserved respect. She looked at the identification card. The name meant nothing to her at first, but she noticed the company name printed beneath it. One of the largest corporations in the country. The owner of this wallet was not an ordinary businessman. He was a billionaire CEO, a person whose name appeared in newspapers, a person who lived in a world completely different from hers. Sarah looked down at the wallet in her hand. She thought about the bills waiting at home, the small amount left in her bank account, the things she still needed to provide for her daughter. For a brief moment, she understood how easy it would be for someone else to make a different choice. But Sarah had always believed something important. A difficult life was never an excuse to become someone you were not. She placed the wallet safely inside her bag. Then she continued walking, not toward a reward, not toward recognition, just toward doing the right thing. Across the city, inside a glass tower overlooking downtown, a man was about to realize something was missing. Billionaire CEO number 4 stood inside his private office, surrounded by everything success could buy. Luxury furniture, important documents, a view of a city that never seemed to sleep. But his attention was not on any of it. His hand reached into his jacket pocket and stopped. The wallet was gone. First, he was not concerned about the money. He was concerned about what was inside. The one thing he carried everywhere. The one thing he never allowed himself to lose. A photograph. And somewhere across the city, a kind-hearted single mother was holding the one object that connected two lives she never knew were already linked. The first thing the billionaire CEO noticed was not the missing wallet. It was the silence. For years, his mornings had followed the same pattern. A carefully planned schedule, back-to-back meetings, decisions that affected thousands of employees. Everything in his world had a place. Everything had control. Until that morning, billionaire CEO number 4 stood inside his office, looking through the contents of his desk drawer one more time. Nothing. The wallet was still gone. His assistant had already checked the conference rooms, the car, and the building entrance. But the answer remained the same. It was somewhere in the city, and inside it was something money could never replace. A photograph. Small, simple, but more valuable to him than any business document he had ever signed. He remembered the first time he saw it, a moment from years ago, a memory connected to a chapter of his life he rarely spoke about. The photograph was not important because of what it showed. It was important because of what it represented. Promise, connection, a reminder of something he thought he had already accepted losing. His assistant entered the office quietly. "We received a call." The CEO looked up. "A call?" "Yes. Someone found your wallet." For the first time that morning, his expression changed. "Who?" "A woman named Sarah Mitchell." The name meant nothing to him. Not yet, but somehow he felt a strange curiosity. A few hours later, Sarah arrived at the company's main office. She almost turned around twice before walking through the doors. The building was enormous. Glass walls, polished floors, people dressed in expensive suits moving quickly through the lobby. It was a world she did not belong to. Sarah looked down at the wallet inside her bag. She reminded herself why she was there. Not because of the person who owned it. Not because of what he could offer. Because it was the right thing to do. At the front desk, she explained that she had found a lost wallet. The receptionist immediately recognized the name. The owner was not just another executive. He was the person whose decisions influence businesses across the country. A few minutes later, Sarah was invited upstairs. The elevator doors opened, and for the first time she saw him. Billionaire CEO number 4 stood near the window of his office. Tall, confident, elegant. But his attention was not on the city outside. It was on the wallet in Sarah's hands. "Thank you for bringing this back," he said. His voice was calm, professional. Sarah handed it to him. "I thought you might need it." He opened the wallet immediately, checking the cards, checking the documents. Then his fingers stopped. The photograph. He pulled it out slowly, and the entire room became quiet. Sarah noticed the change in his expression. A moment earlier, he had looked like a powerful businessman. Now he looked like someone who had just found a memory he never expected to see again. His eyes moved from the photograph to Sarah, then back to the photograph. "Where did you find this?" Sarah felt confused. "In the wallet." He looked at the picture again. His voice became softer. "Do you know who this child is?" Sarah hesitated. The question felt unusual. "I thought she was someone important to you." The CEO remained silent, because he did not have an answer. Not one he could explain. The little girl in the photograph was not supposed to be connected to a stranger. Yet somehow, a woman he had never met had returned the one thing he was afraid of losing. And now, standing across from him, she seemed to hold the beginning of a mystery he had spent years avoiding. The CEO looked at the photograph again. And for the first time in years, he felt something he could not explain. Not confusion, not fear, something deeper. A question. The small picture rested between his fingers as he studied every detail. The little girl's smile, the familiar expression in her eyes, the feeling that somehow this moment had been waiting for him. Sarah stood quietly across the office. She could feel that something about the photograph mattered, but she did not want to cross a line. It was not her story to tell. "I am sorry," she said softly. "I did not mean to look." The CEO looked up. "You did nothing wrong." His voice was different now, less like a businessman, more like a person searching for an answer. He placed the photograph carefully on the desk. "Can I ask you something?" Sarah nodded. "Of course." "Who is the child?" Sarah paused. The question seemed simple, but something about the way he asked made her cautious. "That is my daughter." The room became quiet. The CEO looked back at the photograph. "Your daughter?" "Yes." Sarah's hand moved slightly toward her bag, almost as if she was protecting a part of her world. "She is the most important person in my life." The CEO listened. Every word, every pause, because something about this conversation felt impossible. He had carried that photograph for years. He knew the story connected to it, or at least he thought he did. But now, a woman he had never met was standing in front of him, telling him about the same child. A child he believed belonged only to a forgotten part of his past. Sarah noticed the expression on his face. "Is everything okay?" He looked away for a moment. A billionaire CEO who could handle negotiations worth millions suddenly struggled to answer a simple question. "I am not sure." Sarah did not push. That surprised him. Most people around him wanted answers immediately. They wanted information, opportunities, connections. But Sarah simply waited. She gave him space, and somehow that made him want to speak more. "The photograph has been with me for a long time." Sarah listened carefully. "I thought I understood why I kept it." He looked at the picture again. "But now I am not certain." The words were quiet, almost like he was admitting something only to himself. Sarah gently folded her hands together. "I know what it is like to hold on to something because it means more than people realize." The CEO looked at her. There was no judgment in her voice, no curiosity, just understanding, and that affected him more than he expected. Because Sarah did not know his story. She did not know his wealth. She did not know the things he had achieved. She only saw a person standing in front of her with a question he could not answer. Before Sarah left, she turned toward him. "Thank you for letting me return your wallet." He almost smiled. Most people would have asked for a reward. Sarah shook her head. "It was never mine to keep." The CEO watched her walk toward the elevator. Those words stayed with him. It was never mine to keep. A simple sentence. But somehow it revealed everything about her. She had seen money. She had seen opportunity. And she had chosen honesty. Later that evening, the CEO sat alone in his office. The city lights surrounded him. The wallet was back. The photograph was back. But nothing felt the same. He opened an old drawer. A place where he kept memories he rarely touched. And for the first time in many years, he began searching for answers. Because the woman who returned his wallet had not only returned something he lost. She had reopened a chapter of his life he thought was already closed. The old drawer had not been opened in years. Inside were memories the CEO had carefully placed away. Not because they did not matter, because they mattered too much. Billionaire CEO number 4 sat alone in his office long after everyone else had gone home. The city outside continued moving. Cars passed through the streets. Lights filled the buildings around him. But inside that quiet room, time seemed to slow. His attention remained on the small photograph from the wallet. The same photograph that had changed the way he looked at everything. He carefully opened an old folder. Inside were documents, letters, a few personal items from a chapter of his life he rarely revisited. He searched through them slowly, not like a businessman looking for information, like someone searching for a missing piece of himself. Years ago, he had known someone who meant a great deal to him. Someone who disappeared from his life before he had the chance to understand everything. There were unanswered questions, things left unsaid, memories that never had a proper ending. And now, a photograph had brought all of those feelings back. Across the city, Sarah Mitchell was preparing dinner in her small apartment. The evening was simple. A warm meal, quiet home, her daughter sitting at the table, drawing pictures with colorful markers. Sarah watched her carefully. She loved these ordinary moments, the ones that did not appear important to anyone else, the ones that were actually everything. Her daughter looked up. "Mommy, why are you smiling?" Sarah touched her cheek and laughed softly. "Am I?" The little girl nodded. "Yes." Sarah looked down at the drawing in front of her. It was another picture of their home. A little house, a little family, a big sun above them. "Sometimes," Sarah said gently, "you meet someone who reminds you that good people still exist." Her daughter smiled. "Like a friend." Sarah thought about the CEO, a man she barely knew, a man from a world completely different from hers. "Maybe," she answered. Meanwhile, the CEO continued searching, and then he found something, a small detail, a name, a connection he had never noticed before. His expression changed, not because he suddenly had all the answers, because he realized there were questions he had never thought to ask. The next morning, he contacted his assistant. "I need information about someone." His assistant looked at the request. "Who?" The CEO paused. "Sarah Mitchell." There was something unusual in his voice. Not urgency, not suspicion, something closer to hope. A few hours later, Sarah received a message from him. "Would you be willing to talk again?" She looked at the screen. She was surprised, but not afraid. She had seen something in him the day before. Person behind the title. A man who carried questions he did not know how to answer. She replied, "Yes, I can meet." The CEO read the message. And for the first time in years, he felt something he had forgotten. Not certainty, not control, just the possibility that something lost could still be found. When they met again, he brought the photograph with him. He placed it on the table between them. Sarah looked at it, then at him. And before he said anything, she already knew. This was not about a wallet. It was not about a lost item. It was about a story that had been waiting to be discovered. The CEO took a quiet breath. "Sarah, I need to ask you something about your daughter." The question hung between them. And in that moment, both of them understood. The photograph was not the mystery. It was only the beginning. The question remained between them for a long moment. Sarah sat quietly across from the CEO, her hands resting gently on the coffee cup in front of her. She could feel that this conversation was different. This was not about a lost wallet. It was not about a photograph. It was about something much deeper. The CEO placed the picture on the table. "Sarah, how old is your daughter?" The question was simple, but the way he asked it made her pause. "She is 6 years old." The CEO looked down. 6 years. The number stayed in his mind. A memory, a timeline, a connection that suddenly felt impossible to ignore. Sarah noticed his expression. "Why are you asking?" He took a slow breath. "Because I need to understand something." He carefully chose his words. "I have carried this photograph for many years. Never expected to see it connected to someone else." Sarah looked at the picture again. She had seen it before, but never like this. Never with someone looking at it as if it held a piece of their heart. "Where did you get this photograph?" he asked. Sarah shook her head slightly. "I do not know." Her voice was calm. "But I know it was given to me years ago." The CEO looked up. "Given to you?" Sarah nodded. "Yes." She looked toward the window, remembering. "When I became a mother, my life changed completely. I did not have everything figured out. I still do not." A small smile appeared on her face. "But my daughter gave me a reason to keep moving forward." The CEO listened carefully. Every word mattered. Sarah continued. "The photograph was with some of her old things. I always thought it was just a personal memory." She looked back at him. "I never knew it belonged to someone else." The CEO remained silent, because that was the part he could not understand. How could something so important to him become part of Sarah's life? How could two separate stories share the same piece of the past? Later that day, he returned to his office. But he was no longer looking at the city as a businessman. He was looking for answers. He contacted someone he trusted, someone who had helped him understand parts of his family history before. "I need you to look into something," he said. "A photograph." The person on the other end asked a question. "What kind of photograph?" The CEO looked at the image on his desk. A little girl smiling, a face full of innocence, a face connected to a mystery that had followed him for years. Something I should have understood a long time ago. Meanwhile, Sarah returned home. Her daughter ran toward her with excitement, holding a new drawing. "Mommy, look." Sarah smiled. "What is it?" "Our family." Sarah looked down. The drawing showed 3 people standing together. She laughed softly. "You added someone new?" Her daughter nodded. "Because happy families can grow." Sarah looked at the drawing for a moment. She did not know why those words touched her so deeply. That night, after her daughter fell asleep, Sarah received another message from the CEO. "Thank you for trusting me with this." She read it carefully. Then another message appeared. "I think there is a story behind that photograph." Sarah stared at the screen. A strange feeling settled over her. Not fear, not worry, something else. The feeling that a door from the past had slowly opened, and behind that door was a truth neither of them was ready to fully understand. The answer arrived 3 days later, but for the CEO it felt much longer. He sat alone in his office, staring at the unopened message on his computer screen. For someone who had built an empire by making decisions quickly, this moment felt strangely difficult, because this was not a business problem. It was not a negotiation. It was a piece of his own life waiting to be understood. He opened the report, and the first thing he saw was a name connected to a memory he had tried to accept, but never truly forgotten. He continued reading. Slowly, carefully, Each line revealed another piece of a story that had been incomplete for years. The photograph, the child, the connection. Everything pointed back to a moment in the past that he thought was already behind him. He leaned back in his chair. For the first time in a long time, the billionaire CEO did not feel powerful. He felt human. Across the city, Sarah was living another ordinary day. She packed her daughter's lunch. She helped her get ready for school. She answered work messages while making breakfast. The same small routine she had done countless times before. But something about this week felt different. There was a question in the air. A question she could not ignore. Why did a stranger's wallet contain a photograph connected to her daughter? Sarah had always believed honesty was simple. Do the right thing. Tell the truth. Treat people with respect. But now the truth seemed more complicated than she expected. That evening, her phone rang. It was the CEO. Sarah answered carefully. Hello. There was a quiet pause. Then his voice came through. Sarah, I need to tell you something. She sat down. Something about his tone made her listen closely. I found information about the photograph. Sarah looked toward her daughter's room. She is okay, right? The CEO immediately understood her concern. Yes, she is okay. His voice softened. This is not about anything bad happening. Sarah released a quiet breath. Then she waited. The photograph was connected to my family. The room became silent. Sarah looked at the phone. Your family? Yes. He paused. There are details from my past that I never fully understood. Sarah listened, not because she wanted answers for herself, because she knew this involved something important. The CEO continued. Years ago, there was someone in my life who mattered very much. His voice became quieter. Someone who left behind questions I never had the chance to answer. Sarah held the phone closer. And my daughter? The CEO closed his eyes for a moment. That is what I am trying to understand. The words were honest, not confident, not certain, just honest. Sarah looked at the small drawing on her refrigerator, the one her daughter had made of their family. She thought about all the years she had spent protecting her child, making decisions, carrying responsibilities. And now, something from the past was reaching into their present. Why are you telling me this? She asked. The CEO looked around his empty office. Because he could have handled this differently. He could have used his influence. He could have searched quietly. But something about Sarah made him choose honesty. Because you deserve the truth. Sarah became quiet. Those words meant something. Not because they solved the mystery. Because they showed respect. For the first time, she saw beyond the title, beyond the wealth, beyond the reputation. She saw a man who was searching for something he had lost. And he saw a woman who had spent years protecting something precious. Neither of them knew exactly what the future would reveal. But they both understood one thing. The photograph was not just a memory. It was a bridge between two lives that were never supposed to meet. Until now. The next words were the hardest ones for him to say. Not because he did not know the truth. Because he knew the truth could change everything. The CEO sat across from Sarah in the quiet coffee shop, the photograph resting between them. For years he had kept that picture close. Not as a possession. As a reminder. A reminder of someone and something he never fully understood. I need to tell you about the past, he said. Sarah remained silent. She gave him the space to speak. And for someone who was used to controlling every conversation, that simple patience meant more than he expected. Years ago, before my company became what it is today, there was someone important in my life. His eyes moved toward the photograph. Someone who changed me. Sarah listened carefully. She was kind. She saw things in me that I did not see in myself. He paused. Then life took us in different directions. The coffee shop continued around them. People talked quietly. Cups moved across tables. The world kept going. But for them, everything felt still. I always believed I understood what happened, he continued. But after seeing this photograph, I realized I may have only known part of the story. Sarah looked at the picture, then back at him. Why was this photograph in your wallet? The question was gentle, but necessary. The CEO looked down. That is what I have been trying to understand. He explained that the photograph had been given to him many years ago, a small memory from a time when his life was very different, before the company, before the wealth, before the title everyone recognized. Sarah noticed something. The man sitting in front of her was not talking like a billionaire. He was talking like someone who had lost something meaningful. "Did you know about my daughter before now?" Sarah asked. He shook his head. "No," the answer came immediately. "I did not know she existed." Sarah became quiet. She looked toward the window. 1,000 thoughts passed through her mind. She had always protected her daughter's story. She had always been careful. But now, a part of that story seemed connected to someone she never expected. The CEO noticed her expression. "I understand if this is overwhelming." Sarah looked back at him. "I just need honesty. You have my word." She believed him. Not because of his position, not because of his reputation, because of the way he was. Sitting there, listening, waiting, respecting her choice. Later that evening, Sarah returned home. Her daughter ran to greet her. "Mommy, you are home." Sarah smiled and hugged her. For a moment, everything felt normal again. The same apartment, the same routine, the same little moments she loved. But now there was a new question in her heart. She looked at her daughter's face. The same smile from the photograph, the same warmth. Across the city, the CEO stood in his office holding the picture. He looked at the city below, a place where he had built everything. And yet, somehow, the most important discovery of his life had not come from a business deal. It came from a lost wallet, a simple act of honesty, a woman who chose to return something that was never hers. He picked up his phone. For the first time, he did not know what the next step should be. And that feeling was unfamiliar. But maybe, not every important moment needed a perfect plan. Maybe some moments only needed courage. Because the truth he had been searching for was no longer hidden. It was standing in front of him. And it had a name. The truth did not arrive with a dramatic moment. It arrived quietly. In conversations. In memories. In the small details that slowly connected two lives that had once seemed completely separate. Over the next few days, Sarah and the CEO spent time understanding the story behind the photograph. Not rushing, not making assumptions, just listening. The CEO learned about Sarah's life. Not the difficult parts alone, the beautiful parts too. He learned about the mornings when Sarah packed her daughter's lunch before sunrise. The evenings when she read bedtime stories after exhausting days. The small traditions they created together. The moments that never appeared in headlines but meant everything. And Sarah learned about the man behind the title. She learned that the billionaire CEO was not only the person people saw in business magazines. He was someone who carried memories. Someone who had questions. Someone who wanted to do the right thing. One afternoon, they sat together in a quiet park. Sarah watched her daughter draw pictures nearby. The CEO watched with a small smile. "She is happy," he said. Sarah looked at her daughter. "Yes." A gentle pause followed. "Because I worked hard to make sure she felt loved." The CEO nodded. "I can see that." Those words meant more to Sarah than he realized. Because for years she had wondered if anyone noticed. The sacrifices, the choices, the effort behind every ordinary day. Now someone did. The CEO looked at the child's drawing in Sarah's hand. A simple picture of a family. Nothing expensive. Nothing perfect. Just people standing together. "I spent my whole life building things," he said quietly. "Companies. Buildings. A reputation." He looked at the drawing. "But I think I forgot that the most important things are not always the things you can build with money." Sarah smiled softly. "You remembered." He looked at her. And for a moment, neither of them needed more words. Because they both understood something. The lost wallet was never really about the wallet. The photograph was never just a photograph. It was a reminder that every person carries a story. Every person has something unseen. A memory. A hope. A connection waiting to be discovered. Months later, Sarah's life began to change. Not because someone came in and solved everything for her. Because someone gave her the opportunity to move forward. The CEO helped create a path that respected her independence. A better future. More stability. More possibilities for her daughter. But the greatest change was not something anyone could measure. It was the way two people from different worlds learned to understand each other. The CEO no longer looked at success the same way, and Sarah no longer felt like she had to carry every burden alone. One evening, Sarah looked at the old photograph again, the same photograph that started everything. She smiled. A small object, a simple moment, a life-changing connection. The CEO once believed he had lost something important when the wallet disappeared. But he was wrong. He did not lose something. He found something. A truth. Connection. A family story that had been waiting for the right moment to return. Sarah. She never expected that a simple act of honesty would lead her to the person who would help her discover a hidden chapter of her own life. Because sometimes the things we return to others are the things that return a part of ourselves we never knew was missing.